Hey everyone, welcome to the Spinnaker Healthcare Solutions YouTube channel, where our goal is to help program coordinators better utilize, understand, and analyze their data. I'm Dale Strong, and today's video is going to be a tutorial on how to create a drop-down list for data entry. As you can see on our other videos, you can reach out to us by scanning the QR code that's seen on the screen here, or feel free to leave us a comment in on the YouTube video. We'll be sure to keep an eye out for any comments or questions you might have after this video. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to open our template patient log. The link to this will be available in the video description, or you can always reach out to us and I'll be happy to email this to you in a file form. So as you can see, we've already formatted our data into a Excel table. If the template won't have that already set up, but there's a video on our channel already about how to get to that step. So if you don't know how to get to that step, just go ahead and watch that video and I'll walk you through step by step on how to do that. So as we get a patient log, and this is one of the biggest areas for concern I see when it comes to dealing with program data, is trying to make sure that you have consistent data and everyone that enters the data, because sometimes you have multiple people entering data, they're all using the same kind of data parameters. So one way that you can do this is by doing drop-down lists. So Excel has a cool tool for this, and we're going to kind of show you how to do it. And today we're going to focus on the arrival mode. So per our template, we have two options. You either have the private vehicle, which is indicated by PV, or your ambulance arrival patients, which would be indicated by EMS. So right now, you can type anything into this. You could say the patient arrived via a dog, riding a dog, and it works. But we don't want that to be the case. We want to make sure that whoever is entering this data has kind of the set options from your program. So what we are going to do is we are going to select the cells that we're interested in applying this rule to. So we're going to go ahead and you start with the first one. You don't want to include the column header because then that will also apply the rule there. So we're really focused on where this data is going to be. So starting with C10 here, we're going to drag down to the bottom of the column. And we are going to go to the Data tab. So if you click on the Data tab, along the ribbon, you'll notice this Data Validation tool. So the Data Validation is there's a couple options within Excel that allow you to kind of validate the data that you put into a cell. And it's a really nice, powerful tool. So when we click on that, we have our settings. So for these cells, it allows any value right now. And what we want to do is, and you can, there's tons of different options. You can do decimals, dates, etc. But what we want to do is we are going to do a list. So within the list, we're going to ignore blanks. So if the patient they don't enter something, it's not going to cause any issues. And we do want an in-cell dropdown, which as we build this, you'll see what that looks like. You can unselect this if you want, but I suggest leaving it selected because it will show the options that you create in each cell. So our source. You can refer to cells. So if you have like source data saved on different tabs or like in a data dictionary, you could use that. But for right now, we're just going to hard code it by typing out what we want. So we are going to do PV. We're going to indicate that we want to add another option by doing a comma, and then we're going to type EMS. And we're going to hit OK. So now what you see happened is when you click on this cell, you have the little drop down, and that was what that checkbox for the in-cell dropdown, and you see that you have the two options. So in theory, let's see if we want to do the dog thing, it doesn't allow us to enter that. So how before, without the rule, we were allowed to type whatever we want in here. But because we now have data validation on this, it's only going to allow the person that's entering data to use one of the options in the dropdown. So we're going to go ahead and retry this. Oh, cancel. And we're going to, you can toggle between private vehicle and EMS. Now, why did we have it set to an Excel table? Obviously, patient logs are pretty dynamic. You're usually going to be entering patients, whether it be daily, weekly, monthly, etc. So if we come down here and we hit tab, we're now going to make a new patient tab. And let's say we're going to put today's date, which is the 7/7/2022. And you see that just because we had the data validation applied to the Excel table, it carries down. So this is really good for continuous, consistent data entry in your program. I would really recommend kind of adding this. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to help you set this up in a more rigorous form. But this is a good example of kind of how you would add a drop-down option to your data entry tool. So once again, if you have any questions, feel free to scan the QR code here and reach out to us, or drop a comment and like the video. Have a good one.